Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Mercury Day, Mercury Hour. So let's welcome Mercury. And I'm gonna bring in Hermes. And you know, I love to bring in a talisman. So, oh yeah. Somebody tried to mess with speech, I see. They gonna pay for it. So, ooh la la. Curation Force said now. Let's go in Sedna. And this is Open Doors by Spear and Sundry. Yeah. Let's do a little bit of Hermes honoring. And first of all, what do we know about this talisman already? If somebody tried to trick you to get what you have, and you know Hermes has also to do with our medicine, our sexual energy and Kundalini energy. This is what the cults usually try to get at. So this works in such a way that whenever somebody tries to harvest on your energy or get something from your energy or manipulate your energy, it's very related to our episode today, it ends up so that it's kind of like the Alan Jackson song, the Talking Song. And the Talking Song goes like this. Alan Jackson, okay, the musician, comes to the garage to fix his car. And he's being told, that is broke, that is broke, that is broke, that is broke, but I can fix it to you, don't worry. It's not going to take too much time, only money. And that would be $800. Then he pays the guy. And then the guy says, aren't you that musician guy? He says, yes. I say, I'm also a musician. Starts to play a song. And Jackson listens to the song and said, well, you know what? The hook is broke, that is broke, your guitar is broke, but I can fix it for you. You don't worry, it's not too much time, only money. That will be a $900. So this is what this kind of talisman does. And in addition to that, it opens doors to opportunities. So if somebody tries to trick you, then you get compensated. Okay, you get double time. You see, somebody tried to steal my, they stole my crystal dildo. They thought I wouldn't say it out loud. I'm like, fuck it, you stole my crystal dildo. So if you see somebody with a crystal dildo in a cemetery doing dumb shit, you just got me connected to all your coven, and it backfires. So, y'all know the names, Itamar Yaron. Okay. Yeah, I know the names. Everybody was connected with that dumb fuckery. I saw the face of someone I dated years ago. And that's going to be very connected to this episode, especially now with Uranus in Taurus. Their last name was Rosenblatt. I'm Jungblut. Okay, that together looks like, it does sound like a child eating cold. But I grew up outside the cold, fortunately. He not. And he thought I was not attracted to him. But no, in the beginning I was very attracted to him. But then I began to feel disgust. And that was because many things, I'm not going to get too intimately to all the things. But he was not able to be intimate in a way that is benefic, in the way that is caring. And it's not his fault, it's sexual shame because of what happens in the cult. But he tried to do like emotional blackmail and like all these things, and eventually what made us completely break up is that he thought it's okay to hit your wife. Okay? And that shows care. So that was the thing. I don't know why his face showed up as I removed all the people that tried to basically sexually assault me through psychic attacks and whatnot. It was election day, you know, maybe they wanted to harvest that for like the elections or something. I don't know what the dumb fuckery. But that's leading us to the next topic. So I never thought about this, okay, and I didn't see the guy in like years and years. But that was the thing. This episode is about Uranus. And I'm telling you, this season, use the Uranus in your chart. Both the Uranus in Taurus and the Uranus in your chart. Uranus has a lovely, lovely trait to it. Okay? The more you try to control Uranus, the more it backfires. I have Uranus in the sign of worldview, of children, okay, of the Jupiter sign, okay, it's in my 10th house. So when it comes to career, anybody that try to boss me, my mama, okay, she couldn't boss me. She couldn't say you gotta respect me because I'm your mama. Said nothing, okay, you behave to me as human being and I respect you. And she's got the most respect for me because she understood who she's messing with. And that's it. Okay, it's not anything malefic. Okay, in my generation, people used to beat their children and think that this is education. Okay, a child is born with Uranus in the sign of children in the 10th house. You can't boss them. Okay, it's revolutionizing the relationship between fathers and daughters, mothers and daughters. Okay, you gotta have a little bit more space, a little bit more equity. But when it came to that was the way to win my respect. That respect was earned and not violated. Okay, she learned very quickly with me. If she explains to me as a child why something, she doesn't want me to do something, and why does it matter to her, and that reason is valid, then I don't do it. She doesn't have to tell me the second time. But those teachers who try to punish children, she had to go and write a letter. I didn't even know it. She had to go and write a letter to my school. And she said, Shirley, she doesn't have any behavioral problems. You just gotta explain to her. If there's something you don't want her to do, don't punish her. She doesn't understand that. Explain what is it that you don't like her to do. Explain why. If it is valid, then she will be okay. And that transformed entire experience in school. Now I didn't know about the letter until years later when she showed me that. I guess she was fixing the house and then she showed me that. And that was who I was, okay? I was one goddamn rebellious child. In the wrong hands, I would probably go Ronald Bernard. But because my mom had the understanding that I'm not growing like those other children, okay? I'm not this type of animal. And you gotta treat me with respect, and you earn my respect. And again, I'm not a bully. It's just like treat me with equity, treat me, respectfully. And I won't disgrace you, okay? I'm just, kind of like benefic, I don't know. But this is how it worked when I was a child. When I became older, it was more problematic because it means I can't be bossed. Okay? And it ain't nothing. My bosses usually would tend to be, they would have at least something Jupiterian about them. But I still can't be bossed. I can't, like that Uranus, even when it comes to astrology, even when it comes to school, whenever somebody tries to put me in a frame, because that Jupiter and Saturn sign, I can't be bossed. I can't be put in order, okay? Even when I try to put myself in order, that has to be true to me, or even if I try to oppress myself in terms of career, my life mission, okay, that shit won't go. That shit won't go. And then I grew to my Navamsha. And you grow to your Navamsha at around age 36 with the maturation of Saturn. And in my Navamsha, tropically, Uranus would be in Capricorn, in the 6th house. And that means, first of all, it meant for my animals, my pets, they decide when they come in, they decide when they come out. Okay? But also if they're monogamous, like my cat Segment, okay, she's monogamous. Okay? She decided, I don't have a say. about this, okay? She stays put, you know, and that became that became the thing. So they would go in and out whenever they want, and I'm okay with that. But it also means that anybody who tries to put me to slavery, which is what Saturn in the 6th house can mean, gets the backfire, gets the backlash. Now, if that's not enough, I have a Mars in the 12th house opposing that Uranus. And what did I say before? I learned about my Navamsha. I did charts of whistleblowers, and I did chart of Mordecai Vanunu, who was whistleblower for the A-bomb. And he did that because he wanted to have denuclearification. Okay? Now you can judge his reasoning, you can judge this, you can judge the success, you can judge whether it was a show, not a show. I look at his chart, and a lot of things at his chart, there's this Mars opposing Uranus, and I say what I said. Because before that I did charts of martial artists, and I said this is the martial artists of whistleblowers. And he's going to be living in Norwegian now. Okay? And then I look at Manavamsha. You see, they try to recruit me to intelligence. I noticed that what they call sex wars is espionage and how it works. The knowledge came to me. The knowledge came to me. You try with Uranus, you manifest. It's a very manifesting. And I connect the dots and I say, fuck it. I expose for the way that this is done, why it's not good for intelligence, why it's not even intelligence, how that permeates our working market, our economy, our this, our that, and how that's connected to satanic ritual abuse. I connect for all the people with two spirits, or the two gender, or the hermaphrodites, or all these people, whether grew up within the cult, outside the cult, okay? All of that, and I expose the dumb fuckery. Now, the more they try, the farther I expose. That's the thing, okay? Anybody try to put me to work gets the backlash. Now, if you don't, now the thing is, I will go and build a half moon. Bless you. My mama sneezed on that. In my culture, it says that's true. If I try to I just learned this about myself, so I don't try to oppress myself anymore, okay? Because I would get sick. I would get sick. Now, I would build up the half moons to make a forest, because my Saturn, okay, in tropical Aries in the 9th, opposing Jupiter, the ruler, in Libra in the 3rd. So in the neighborhood, I would build my half moons for free, to build a forest that would grow vegetation, that would grow food for generation, that would save the economy, that would save the air, that would rejuvenate the well water, everything, okay? I cannot, that's the thing, okay? I haven't seen something as yielding as that. I will grow garlic myself. See this Saturn, agriculture, inside of Mars. That's garlic. I would take care of my health holistically, because Uranus says holistically, and it is physical health. So when I gotta take care of my teeth, that would be done holistically. If I gotta say the name of a people, Saturn in the sign of Mars, again also in the Navamsha, teeth, Saturn, Mars names, I'ma say it, okay? Because I gotta be healthy. It's not against anyone. Not at all. So I speak with names, okay? And then I would be able to have a progress with my teeth. Or with my pedicure. It's not against anybody, really. And Uranus is liberating, okay? It's liberating you as much as it's liberating your environment. So what's better than the Uranus in the 6th house for abolishing of slavery, right? And the more they try, the more it backfires, the more they are exposed. The more energy they put into it, the more it is exploding. And we need to explode that because there are children underneath. And that's how it works. Internationally, because Saturn is all across the board. Okay, Saturn in the 9th, in the Navamsha, and then the ruler Mars in the 12th. So internationally, where it comes to whether it's jails, whether it's isolated places, monasteries, foster homes, especially stuff of the welfare, because I got cancer, tropical cancer. And then the moon goes back to the 10th in Taurus. So I'll make a career out of it. You don't talk to me about work when there is people unhoused independently of ability to work. Because that breeds MK Ultra. And I know that because when it's time for me to go and work the soil up, because the world right now needs forests, and it needs clear water, and it needs clear air, I would go and do that. And even if I'm driving with my mama, okay, something happened, I gotta stop. Wait, I gotta do this. And it's the right election, the right time of the moon. I do this, I do the ceremony, then I can go on. Can't be stopped. Right now, the world needs forests. It needs clean air. It needs fresh water. Okay? So my 6th house is of service to humanity on that level. Even I cannot oppress myself. But you try to put me into a frame, then it backfires. It poof! Just like whoever stole my crystal dildo. It's not a crystal, it's a glass dildo. And it's wave shape. You know why they use the wave shape? Because the job for it is not just a self-pleasure. It's to reach places in the yoni, in the vagina, where it's difficult to reach. Okay, so that you can release energy. Okay, so they try to get that, to try to do magic with that. Okay, that backfires. And did you know nobody can use a consecration against you? It backfires, so it backfires. Whatever it has remnants of DNA, remnants of blood, remnants of secretion, okay? Think about all these things that they use, okay? It backfires with that. This is also why satanic ritual abuse backfires so hard every time, and they have to oppress, so they have to invest so much energy into oppression. There's really nobody within the system that has this amount of energy or even desire to oppress themselves and others. Okay, because they have to keep putting in the energy to oppression, and it runs out because it keeps backfiring on them. We can interfere in nature when it is in favor of nature. We are a part of nature, and our technology is a part of nature. You know, sidereally, my Uranus would be in Scorpio, so I see technology as a part of nature, not as something antithetical to nature. But the question is, just like sexuality is a part of nature, but sexuality is a part of nature when we use it benevolently. Mars is a part of nature when we use benevolently. When not, you get bad blood flow, and then you get your dick falling, okay? Because it's the blood that holds the erection. So if you use it malefically, poof, okay, your very penis rebels. Also for women, if they try to do like manipulation or stuff like that, then they get a man they can't rely on. Okay, it's true. They like, if you emasculate, they get a man you can't rely on. That's the thing. This is the truth. I gotta say. I gotta say what I gotta say. So you want to use your Uranus. Right now Uranus is in Taurus, and that's a good thing, because the more they try to oppress people and the land, the more it backfires. Kind of like, it was difficult to grow some plants, and then it was difficult to grow the yard. Then you go and do the half moon in the backyard, then that's difficult, so you go out and you do the half moon, because entire world needs the half moons, okay? Not what's budgeted in UN to be later tarnished and burned in 2027. I said what I said. It's the revolution of the soil. Why you get so many people owning an apartment, turning their garden into a natural garden. And then there was a case, I think it was in UK. The government took a woman to court. Why? Because she had a natural garden. They said, it looks intended to. Fuck that. You sit there 5 minutes, you see the birds from all over the place with the greatest colors. They come to the garden, you see flowers growing, okay? You see the natural habitat. You see better pesticides, because you get everything that's the natural cycling of everything. It comes up. Okay, if you have, let's say, a spider in your house, okay, I'm not talking about like that giant tarantula things where what's that short of that guy to say he got the house? Okay, but a humble spider, you don't kill it. It's catching in all the other things that you don't want to have. You got yourself a cat in the house, you don't have mice and rats, okay? So that's the revolution, where people get that, so they do that. People learn how to make honey without killing the queen bee in the end. So instead of us being interfering malefically in nature, the bee hivers, I don't know, they saved the queen bee from being ambushed by the entire clan at the end of her life. So they save the queen bee, and she gets to have the end of life at the save of grace. And they learn how to do it with the bees, so they don't do something malefic to the bees. Yes, you harvest the honey, but it's not something that is something that kills the bees or puts them to stress or something like that. So if you get the chance to get the honey made in that way, that would be the best. Uranus in Taurus is also, the more they try to oppress women and the feminine, the more backlash they get. It began with women talking to their vagina after the Me Too. Seriously, women began to talk to their vagina after the Me Too. Okay? And then looking into our cycles of fertility and how that correlates with our creativity, and then fertility with the moon. Okay? And then the snake goddess, just a by chance experiment. If I turn to the snake goddess, Medusa Gorgon, the one that they sacrifice children to, and I ask her to abolish a child sacrifice, and I get all the help in the world, including to know the fact that she doesn't need that in the monasteries. So you see, what I learned from this, it's something very close to what Louise Hay has said. The way you view God, whichever God, whether it's a snake god, whether it's Satan himself, whether it's the Christ or the divine, should coincide with being benefic, and it should be healthy for you and for the world, because if I do this with the snake goddess, then why shouldn't you be able to do that with Christianity, with Judaism, with Islam, okay? If I tend to abolish in satanic ritual abuse with literally the head of Satan, and I get help to abolish satanic ritual abuse, it's not the God that you worship, it's the way that you worship God. And I saw chaos magicians create God, like the God of the algorithm, the God of this, the God of that, and they develop relations with that, and they get facilitation of help, okay? Whether you call it our consciousness or the fact that we are co-creative in the world, just like with astrology, okay? The minute you turn to with the planet that's affecting your condition and you ask for help, then You do the things that are related to that planet and you get help. This is why turning to Christ consciousness works after the Inquisition. You shouldn't have been able to work with Christ after the Inquisition, because the Inquisition is an abomination. But you can turn to Christ consciousness. You can turn to Archangel Michael. You can turn to Jesus. You shouldn't have been able to do that after the Inquisition. Why does it still work when you read? Some people read Psalm. What is Psalm? It's singing about King David. Who was King David? A fucking serial rapist. But it does work for them. Why does it work for them? Because they don't rape. They just read Psalm and they ask for help from a fucking rapist, and that works. Zeus, okay? His vice was incest, okay? But we can still turn to Zeus and we get benefic results. Why? Because we're not doing incest. It's how we worship our gods. You can read the Psalm of King David and you will get benefic results, because what you intend is benevolence. That's your way to turn to God. Okay? That's your way to turn to gods or the divine or to assistance or to whatnot. That's the same. I channeled people that were in their life hermaphrodites, so their job was both to defend people who kidnapped, raped, and tortured children and women. And when I channeled them, they helped me, and to do the other way, okay, for the same, because this is they have to go to both the dark and the light, supposedly, because that way they won't incarnate. And if they have families, sometimes they have to do this for the family so that they would live longer, okay? But then when I turned to these people, when I was in a situation, then I got help for how to escape human trafficking and how to save children from being kidnapped. You see how powerful this is? And when you see how powerful this is, you can get, okay, your faith in your own abilities, because you can create a God, okay? It's more how you worship the God, okay? Uranus and Taurus is also money. The more they will try to oppress people financially, the more it backfires. Actually, this is when I began to do my forecasts on financial, not financial astrology, but actually when money is flying out of the pocket. The hard aspects to Uranus is when money flying out by Venus, by the ruler of your second, by Mars, by Mercury itself. Actually, the last time I spoke about this, my sudden purchase was a couple of like some ice cream for me and my mom, and a snack, an Israeli snack called Bamba, okay? So I was just talking about how Mercury opposite Uranus can bring in those sudden purchases, and then I was doing that, and we were just celebrating the fact that I was still alive after all these sexual assaults and the attempts to get me into a space where I live with my mom, so I will fight with my mom and all these things, okay, that try to make people break down. Because she wrote an amazing book, and it got sold door to door, and everybody loved to read it. Now everybody was sure she was sleeping with children. Why? because she became fucking famous, and they thought that she too is in a pedo ring, so they tried to take her down immediately, okay? But she was not in the cult, so she was privileged to not have to do this dumb fuckery. Then of course I understand that when I was right, in my own satire, they very likely try to do the same, especially when it was my psychologist that was MK Ultra. So I get a psychiatrist asking me, do you like children? I look at her straight in the eye, like, the fuck are you talking about? But I couldn't tell her anything about my psychologist because she would say I'm psychotic, okay? Well, the cure to psychosis, as we know, if you're watching this channel, is what? Housing first, independently of ability to work, is practiced in Finland, and even more, access to nature for indefinite time. People are going to do what they came here to do. They're not lazy. They're not going to sit still unless they need to rest and sleep a lot to curate from the trauma. And to what? To believe the patient. That means that if you're thinking that you're imagining, scientifically you're not imagining. That cures psychosis. Supportive environment cures psychosis. I know people that take the antipsychotics, whatever dumb fuckery they're doing, that they're taking that even though they were molested by their parent. Okay? Case worse than mine, but mine it wasn't the parents. It was MK Ultra all the way along. Okay? But they were molested by their parents. Okay? So they know that's a dumb fuckery. Okay, yet they say I'm psychotic and they take these pills. Okay, fine. Then they go to a conference where they have a nice environment and they say, oh my God, I noticed that the voices and the sensations and everything, it became so supportive when I was in a good environment. I'm like, good morning. Another person told me what helps him with psychosis was to envision a blue light surrounding his entire body and going through him, and says the light of truth, the color of truth. And yes, blue is associated with Anabalgadi, which is protective and protecting our truth. So when he is connected to his own truth, he's protected from the dumb fuckery. That's the thing. Use Uranus. See what house is Uranus. You see, you can understand, for me it's the third house. That's why I make every day of these videos, okay? Where is Uranus in your chart? What sign it is? If you're above 36, go to your D9, your Navamsha. You will find it in AstroSeek, okay? Where Uranus is in, you can't be oppressed, but you can't even oppress yourself. What's next to Uranus, okay? Was the same sign. I got my legacy, my midheaven, what I'm known for, and my Ketu, where I came from, next to Uranus. Nobody can I'm sorry, with where I came from, and nobody can with my legacy, and that includes me. You think my natural choice is to be standing here exposing the names of all these people that are involved with all these intelligences? And talk about all these things that are like the most remote and alienated from society? No, but I cannot even oppress me. The more they try, the more they die. And Saturn is dead, yes. Sidereally, that would mean my Uranus is in Sagittarius for the Navamsha, which means what? Revolution in the way we connect with religion. And I know I come from the generation in Enlightenment that did that. If you think about Kant, then what did Kant say? If you are thinking with the Logos, because he was a lot of Aries, then you can connect with God. You don't need a priest. Okay, you can listen. You know, when I was in Netherlands, I was actually growing into my Navamsha. I was in Netherlands, and I was in Oranjekerk on a Sunday Mass for the first time in my life, and it was in Dutch. It was about a new beginning. And what I liked about the church, I didn't know about like the satanic ritual abuse and stuff, or if they're related or whatnot. What I liked is that I saw the signs of all religions, including pride flag. Okay, and I say, I'm going to put my €2 here, okay? This is where I put money on the plate. And then I would have to tend to satanic ritual abuse, because that is abomination, okay? And the priest was astrologer as well. very likely Masonic, but the thing is that we need to rid ourselves, since the Inuit, okay, in the cult, outside of the cult, in tribal society, from infanticide, from femicide. That's the thing, okay. But I had a very good time. I had a very good time, very interesting conversation. So it's not about necessarily being antithetical to anything spiritual or religious, just renewing and liberating the way we do whatever is, God or religion or whatnot. And when we think about satanic ritual abuse, what bothers us about it's not the Masons, it's not the hermaphrodite, it's not if you're intersex, it's not those things. It's simply the things that are the very torture of the people inside the cult that coming to abolish. Okay, you think about when feminism began to rise. There were all streams of feminism, but the type of feminism that said, hey, everybody is oppressed by this situation. What happens after them? Men have better sex because women don't fake it. So they learn to get, there's a little bit of embarrassment, but everybody has new tricks to learn. And men learn to express themselves more. Men learn that what they thought was erectile dysfunction is actually erection in function, and it's not going to be too hard when the woman is not into it, so they feel it, and then they tend to not get hard when they're attuned. It's not a dysfunction. They learn to be more tantric, yes, but also if they have thoughts about women or fear about women or that interferes with erection, yes. And if they went so much as to be sexually violent to women, this is a deeper work of healing and recovery. Because the fact the body keeps the score is not about go and rape women and then you will be rid of your war trauma. It's the other way around. So you want to see where your Uranus is. Wherever it's at in your chart, you can't be oppressed there. You cannot be oppressed. And that is the type of, that's the type of place where you think the person is being put, I don't know, in situations, that's life and death situation, that's this, that, they can't be oppressed. They can't oppress themselves, that's what's up, okay? But Uranus also brings the eureka, the renewal, the rejuvenation, to these things. You would find what you like to do. You would find what type of partnership fits you. You would find what the worldview that fits you. So, the more you try to oppress yourself, or somebody tries to oppress you in relation to that Uranus in your life, and that includes astrology, and I'm pretty safe that astrology will find a way out of what they're trying to do to astrology. Okay? They tried to silence a colleague of mine, and even though we're not the type of people who meet every day or talk every day or not in contact at all or necessarily like big rapport, I was like, I paid attention and I see that they try to silence him with long COVID. Of course I speak up. Why? Because they lay the foundation from which you can build on to do what I do. And they did it for free. People don't like that. No. That's Uranus. So, thank you for watching. And I'll see you next episode.